Welcome back to the morning show, everybody. It's the voice of Texas, AM 700, KSEV. Ed Hendy out, Chris Salcedo sitting in. Of course, I don't want you to ever confuse me with those loudmouth leftist Latinos. I am the liberty-loving Latino. It is that time of year, that dreaded time of year where we have to deal with taxes, giving the government its due, or at least what the government says is its due. Kind of turns the whole concept of a government of, by, and for the people on its ear when it's our overseers in Washington telling us what we need to pay them. We should be telling them what their budget is, and they shall not spend more than that. That's the way it should be. But I digress. That's for a future time. Joe Mastriano is on the phone line. He's a CPA right here in Houston, focuses on helping Americans protect themselves from the Internal Revenue Service. And, of course, it's open season on conservatives out there, courtesy of the IRS, so we need Joe now more than ever. He's been in the business for over 30 years, folks, in an era where the occupier of the Oval Office uses the most powerful government agency against his political opponents. His services, as I mentioned, are really in dire need. Joe, welcome to the morning show here on KSEV.
I'm glad to be here. And Chris, I love your idea. I really think it shouldn't be at the whims of the people in office.
Well, that's the way it should be. And for some god-awful reason, Democrats, the reason why it is turned on its ear, they have a lot of the American people believing that government will tell us what we should pay. It's the other way around, folks. We are supposed to be a government of, by, and for the people. We tell them how much money we as taxpayers will give them for a budget, and if we wrote a balanced budget amendment, the language should read something like this: you shall not spend more than you are given by the American people, period. That's, like I said, another discussion for another day. Joe, huge tax increases coming our way, courtesy of Mr. Obama and his Democrats. We have, of course, the Supreme Court ruling that Obamacare is a tax. That's what makes it constitutional. Otherwise, Obamacare would not be constitutional. So the amount of taxes increases coming from that law are a particular concern to a lot of folks around the country. What impacts, not this filing season, but next, will Obamacare have in the tax situation?
It impacts me too, and some of this actually already wasn't, the biggest impact has already hit. Earning over $200,000, your Medicare tax increases by 0.9%. And then what really got me is I have a subchapter S corporation, like a lot of people, and we get a salary and we get dividends, the profit from the company carried over on the K-1, and there's a surtax on that of 3.8%. And it's like they want to take the benefit away of having the corporation.
Yeah, the Bush tax rates are still in effect for this filing season, correct? It's next tax day when the Bush tax rates have gone away and we're back to the pre-Bush tax rates, which means, because when Bush instituted the new rates, there was a whole slew of Americans that were taken off the tax rolls altogether, correct?
Yeah. Well, the stuff that's going to go away, there is a big change now that's going to happen. Itemized medical deductions, you deduct 10% instead of 7%, so less of your medical expense. The more money you make, apparently you're supposed to be healthier or something. The less by far you're going to be able to deduct for medical expense.
Okay, let's talk about some more common, everyday Main Street folks here in Houston who just might be filing their taxes and might, start cracking the books or getting their return ready and get some surprises either from their CPA or from wherever they go, H&R Block or something like that. What are going to be some of the biggest surprises folks find filing this year?
Oh, okay. Well, the ones I mentioned are for this year. Things are expiring at the end of this year. I think that's what you were originally asking me.
Sure.
What expires at the end of the year is deductions for things like, different credits, energy credits, storm windows, things like that. Your deduction for 179 advanced depreciation, it goes down from like $500,000 to $25,000 only. So business businesses will take smaller write-offs that way and have to capitalize stuff more over time.
Joe Mastriano is my guest right now. He's a CPA right here in Houston. So, Joe, I have been told, and I've seen other tax experts on other programs on television and heard them on radio, basically saying that there's a danger every single time you file that you're going to be overpaying. Describe to me some of the common mistakes that folks are making when they're giving too much of their hard-earned cash to Uncle Sam.
Yeah. I mean, there's a big fear for people for being audited, and I have a method, a 4-part method, where anyone that's used it has never been audited. And if people Google Killer IRS, you can get to my website. I have a great free download. But a lot of people tell people that, a lot of tax preparers tell people don't take an office and home deduction because it's a red flag, or don't give a lot of money, a big percentage of your income to charity. That's another red flag, or employee business deductions. If you're on a W-2 and you use, you have expenses on the job, you can take that. And it's always been my policy to say, take whatever you're entitled to, but document the return. And that's where people fail. Again, my clients aren't afraid of being audited. We put down that we understand the code and the regs, and we have the receipts, and we can prove it was a business purpose instead of personal, and therefore, go audit someone else who's not prepared.
All right, Joe Mastriano, he's a CPA right here in Houston. Joe, what was the name of that, or what was the address that you gave so folks can look up some of that helpful information?
Yeah, my trademark is Killer IRS, so if people Google Killer IRS or Killer IRS CPA, they'll get to my website at taxproblem.org.
All right, Joe, thanks a lot for your time here on the morning show on KSCB.
Great to be here. Thank you, Chris.
You betcha, buddy. Thank you.